5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're now tuned into the 411 podcast and reading Between the Wines, powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network. More than a podcast, this is a sanctuary for self-discovery, healing, and personal growth. Here, we explore what it means to live debt-free, not just financially, but spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Every episode is part of a journey across our weekly mentorship series: Spiritual Sundays, Mental Mondays, Transformational Tuesdays, Wind Down Wednesdays, Coaching Sessions Thursdays, and Financial Fridays. Each day holds space for wisdom, clarity, and real conversation. So grab your journal, pour your glass, and prepare to go beyond the surface. Because here, we don't just talk, we transform. And now, here's your guide through it all: entrepreneur, mentor, and founder of Black Diamond Consultations, Laren Gaines.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome into Reading Between the Wines. Wow, it's the 10th. September 10th. Summer is no longer here. Time is flowing on, and we're here already. So welcome in Wind Down Wednesday. This is part of the mentorship series. I want to say what's up to everybody out there. I saw a couple people pop in and then they popped out. Maybe I'll come back. This 5 Restoration 4-1 podcast, Reading Between the Wines. This is episode 49. We're going to take it there tonight. Toxic ties. But again, I want to take this moment to say thank you to each and every one of you out there for supporting. Thank you all for the love and support. I appreciate you. Could not do this without each and every one of you out there. I want to thank my executive producer. I want to thank God for giving me another opportunity to come out here and do what I love the most, which is connecting and interacting and podcasting and giving you this great Reading Between the Wines show. Let's get into this recap. But before we do that, I want to let you know that we're sampling a good Chardonnay wine tonight. Martha Stewart's Chardonnay. This is her lighter version of Chardonnay. And the reason why I picked the lighter Chard, which is what it's called, Martha's Lighter Chard, is because like I expressed last week, that Chardonnay is not one of my favorite wines to sample. But of course, I'm going to do so. I'm not going to, shy away from or stop sampling a specific type of wine, since this is a show dedicated to wine. So we will try them and we will try new ones and find out exactly what we like and what we don't. You will never know unless you take that first step and actually try something. So sampling Martha Stewart's Lighter Chard, and we'll get into Lighter Chard in a few. But let's do this recap real quick so we can get to the fun part of the show. So we were in Houston, Texas last week with Miss Jasmine, and it seems as if we had some spiritual issues going on. I don't know if that's the right word, issues, but definitely touched the spiritual realm, definitely the mental and the physical. And I'm going to say possibly a little bit of emotional issues going on here as well. Again, I'm correcting myself as I'm saying, and I want to refrain from using the word issues. But when you know that God says no, and again, I want to make sure that I'm clear because, I'm not exempt from some of these same scenarios, some of these same assignments that we have going on, because sometimes I know when God says no to me. But Jasmine was with someone for almost 3 years, and she knew full well that God said absolutely not, but continued. And because of that, she became mentally exhausted. Physically, she started to suffer and gain weight from the stress. And financially, over $12,000 worth of credit card debt because she kept covering the bills for someone else. Now, she had some church friends, church folk, as I like to say, tell her that this person is no longer serving her, no longer good for you, Miss Jasmine. And yet she just did not know how to stop. And as a result, she knows that some of her poor decisions, and we so-called titled it POUR, poor decisions, definitely affect her love life, her faith, her finances, her family, and she felt like she was completely losing herself. And I would submit to say that when you know full well that something, some place, situation no longer serves your purpose, and yet you still continue to go down that path, that is a recipe for disaster. I want to say that is a recipe for setting yourself up to be in a situation, in a position where you will lose yourself. And you'll wake up one day and you'll realize that you no longer signed up for this. This is not something that you originally wanted for your life, but yet you did not know how to say the magic words of no. So if you want to find out how we helped Miss Jasmine by offering our opinion, myself and Mr. Birdman 313, who will be coming in shortly, you can head on over to YouTube, watch that replay. The replay is also available on Facebook. It's available on X. It's available on Twitch. And you can also catch the replays where you listen to your favorite podcasts. We are on iHeartRadio. We are on Deezer. We're on Pocket Cast. We're on Audacity, Spotify, just to name a few. All right. Now it's time to get into the song of the day. This is going to be a good one. We have up for tonight's song of the day. And I actually was listening to snippets from this album about a week ago. So this brings some memories. Song of the day, Love Shoulda Brought You Home, by none other than the amazing Miss Toni Braxton. 1993. Ladies and gentlemen, what were you doing in 1993 when Toni Braxton came out? It was refreshing to R&B music. I don't even know what to say about this album. It's classic. First of all, it was initially released and set for the Boomerang soundtrack. And then, of course, Toni's album came out months later. But I know I'm going to get into Love Shoulda Brought You Home last night. But can we speak about some of the songs that come to mind when you think about this Toni Braxton album? 7 Whole Days. That's the first song that comes to my mind, 7 Whole Days. And I think there's one called How Many Ways? Let Me Count the Ways, or something like that. Excuse me if I don't have the exact title. This was a bad album. Toni came out swinging with this one. I know that Love Shoulda Brought You Home last night. That's what Toni says. She says you should have been here with me. You should have been right by my side. And if you cared anything for me, then love should have brought you home last night. So my question is, so when love doesn't bring someone home, I'm guessing that we already know what that means. When there is no love, then we know that there is no trust. And then my next question is, why are we still playing games? You know, those games that we play like Chucky Booker. Y'all remember that song? Why you want to play games? Play your games on me. Why you want to play? Y'all remember that Chucky Booker record? When people play games and they are good at these games, this means that they've had a lot of practice playing. So, knowing this information again, here's some more rhetorical questions. Why would someone want to put their soul through the business? And I know it's easier said than done. I understand and I know. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is a true definition of a toxic, disrespectful relationship. And as my mentor would say, learn, but more so to yourself. This is an example of a toxic, disrespectful relationship. But guess what? More so to yourself. More so of you being disrespectful to yourself because you know full well that this is no longer serving you. You know full well that this doesn't work for you. You know full well that this is no good, that this person is no good, that this relationship is no good, that this situation is no good. But yet we still continue to entertain. The enemy cannot destroy and cannot take away your power unless you give him access to do so. No one can hurt you unless you give them access, unless you give up your power, unless you cease being king or queen and allow them to come in and destroy everything that you've worked so hard for. Toxic people and environments will take you farther down the path to hell, and they will keep you there longer than you want to stay, and it will cost you more than you want to pay. Any relationship, but we speaking specifically about these type of relationships, they will cost you, whether it be spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, or emotionally. You will have to pay because nothing in life is free. And I will repeat that again. Nothing in life is free. You're going to pay some type of way. Now, however, you can free yourself and you can free your mind, like In Vogue. Y'all remember that song by In Vogue, Free Your Mind and the Rest Will Follow? You can set yourself free and you can set yourself apart from anything that is no longer serving your purpose. You have that power. God has given us that right and that power to just make it work. Easier said than done, especially when you've been wrapped up and trapped up into something for so long. Even this past weekend, I had a long talk with a very good friend. And she told me, Laren, you don't have to serve people who don't deserve a seat at your table. And I was like, wow, I need you to repeat that again. I need you to say that again. You don't have to serve people who don't deserve a seat at your table. And it is so real for me today because I know how to separate the BS from the truth. I know how to recognize game and I understand and I know it. And I pray that anyone out there that is in a toxic, manipulative, disrespectful situation, I pray that you break free and learn how to love yourself enough to know when it's time to let go. I've been singing that record from my girl Mary for years, but I didn't know how to love myself enough to know when it was time to let go. But thank God that I know how to let go today. I'm so passionate about this because I was stuck for such a long time. And I'm here to give some encouragement to people who might be stuck in these toxic situations. And I know that this is going to sound might be a little off. I don't want to play the card of one sex is stronger than the other. It's one thing for someone to play games with women and keep them stuck. But boy, do the tables turn and do things get a little twisted and do things get a little ugly when the shoe is on the other foot and the game is being played from the woman perspective, and the man is the one that's being taken for a ride. We're going to get into that tonight. Track 49, Toxic Ties. Song of the day, Love Should Have Brought You Home by Toni Braxton. Okay, now it's wine time. But before we begin sampling tonight's wine, as always, I want to remind everyone that Black Diamond Consultations and Reading Between the Wines encourages responsible drinking at all times. So please be mindful that alcohol affects your mental, physical, spiritual, and financial well-being. And I've always said that they don't call it wine and spirits for no reason. So we need to be very careful. Irresponsible habits can lead to harmful consequences in each of these areas of your life. So enjoy the experience, savor the flavors, and know your limits, because the best memories are made when we sip responsibly. Now, that is so true, and I want to make sure that I stay on this. It's about knowing your limits and doing what works for you. Over the past month, we've had quite a few people write in, quite a few people comment. The issue or the situation that they have at hand when it comes to being able to control alcohol. So I want to be very clear that this is something that we need to pay close attention to, especially if you have family members that are experiencing this, friends. We want to make sure that we educate and we encourage them to do it responsibly. And I say that if you can't do it responsibly, then sometimes it's best that you just leave it alone. And I want to stay on that because, we're going to shift the show. I don't want to take it there, but I just want to make sure I put it out there. I've been seeing a common theme here. And in reality, with me being the host of this show, it can be a little disturbing. And I don't want to put this out there in a way that this is something that we do excessively. Wind Down Wednesday is just Wednesday, and that's it. And there is no drinking every single night and popping bottles. And yeah, we're just not doing that for several reasons, which we've said on this show before. And, I'm sure it will come up conversation, but that's just not something that we do here. So having said that, let's get into this Martha Stewart's lighter shard. Now, I did exactly what I set out to do. I'm on the Reading Between the Wines tour 2025, and I kicked it off. I started to sample some red wines as the fall season is already here, whether it's officially announced or not. It's fall in New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to start to shift and get into more red wines as the weather gets cooler. But I wanted to end the summer season with a Chardonnay, and that's exactly what we're doing here. And 19 Crimes, this brand, is what we're focusing on. And we're starting with the Martha Stewart. And she does have another Chardonnay. So depending on how this one works, we'll see if we get into the other Chardonnay. But of course, you can't have Martha Stewart without Snoop Dogg. So I'm a fan of Snoop Dogg and I'm a fan of his wines. And we're going to get into the 19 Crimes Snoop Dogg wines directly after this. And we're just going to flow in. I'm going to go back and I'm going to sample all of his wines. And we'll take it there. So Martha Stewart's lighter shard. 19 Crimes tells the true story of rule breakers who beat the odds and overcome adversity to become folk heroes. This spirit lives on today through innovators like Martha Stewart, a self-made icon who built a domestic empire. Martha's drive embodies the timeless values of the 19 Crimes mavericks who came before her. And this wine is 8.5% alcohol volume. And this one is specifically for people who want to have less calories in their wine. So this is 80 calories per serving. So thank you, Martha, for keeping us a little healthier. Again, it's called 19 Crimes Martha's Lighter Chardonnay. This is from California, and it's a lighter style Chardonnay crafted, of course, to reduce calorie intake. It's made from 100% California Chardonnay grapes. The average price of this wine is about $15. And again, the alcohol content is 8.5, making it more lighter than the most standard Chardonnay. I believe that the standard Chardonnay is going to be anywhere between 11, starting at 11% alcohol content. You get, of course, your typical straw yellow color. And this one has a little bit of hint of lime in it. So you might get a little lime green color in it, which I can see it as I'm visually staring at it. The aromas: crisp, fresh green apple, stone fruit, citrus, like a oaky, woody with a sweet undertone. Taste: testers have described bright and crisp citrus, stone fruit flavors with the gentle oak notes. The wine maintains refreshing acidity with a tangy, uplifting finish. Again, 18 calories per 5-ounce glass. A great pick for lighter sipping. This pairs well with grilled fish, citrus salads, sell I need to back that up. Shellfish, or basically simply on its own because it's that light. Fun fact: this is 19 Crimes' first lighter wine created in partnership with Martha Stewart. It's specifically designed to offer the crisp pleasure of Chardonnay with fewer calories and lower alcohol. Out of 5 stars, this wine gained 4 stars. A refreshing, easy drinking Chardonnay that balances bright fruit and oak with low calories and lower alcohol, perfect for casual or mindful drinking moments. How about that? Mindful drinking moments when you know full well that you have to maintain and know who you are and not get caught up in a situation and not be out there. I get that. So, mindful drinking. Community reviews: Chardonnay flavors at 80 calories makes it a standout in its category. And to sum things up for the night, 19 Crimes Martha's Lighter Chardonnay is a crisp, stone fruit driven wine, elevated with citrus and oak nuances, yet friendly in calories and alcohol, perfect for those wanting a classic Chardonnay vibe in a lighter, more refreshing format, ideal for gatherings, mindful moments, or whenever you're watching your intake without compromising on flavor. On that note, I want to say cheers, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in on another episode of Wine Down Wednesday on Reading Between the Wines. And I'm going to sip. I'm going to give you my opinion on this. And we're going to get my friend, author Birdman313 right up. I will tell you, they definitely nailed it with a lighter. And it's not as strong. It's not as bold. You definitely know that it's a Chardonnay wine. Let me tell you that. But for those of you who are aware of the standard Chardonnay, it takes out that afterbite after you take that last sip. So I'm impressed. I really am. I'm impressed with it, and I would drink it again. I would say that Martha might have turned things around when it comes to a Chardonnay for me. It's not that typical because, for me, Chardonnay is the truth. It definitely is. It has, I don't know about it, but it definitely has just this your standard traditional Chardonnay has this aftertaste for me to where I'm like, I could do without it. There's so many other great wines out there that I typically say I could do without it. So this is the reason why this is the last wine that I sampled from the white wines for the summer. So, but next year it might be different because this definitely yeah, this definitely passed the test for me. So I recommend y'all trying out Martha's Lighter Chardonnay. Now, I am curious to see what the original one is. I'm sure that the original Chardonnay definitely has that bite aftertaste that I was speaking of. So, on that note, let's go ahead and get Birdman 313 in and see what's going on in his neck of the woods. What's going on there, sir? How are you?
Hey,
Welcome
how's
on
it
in.
going, man?
It's going.
That's
It's
good.
going. I'm feeling up. How's everything in your
It's
world?
all right. It's cooling down a little bit, but it's still in the 90s, but it's the cool 90s. But everything
Wait a
going
minute.
well.
Well, wait a minute. Let me back this thing up. It's cooling down, but it's in
Yes.
the 90s.
Yes. But
Hmm.
see, the humidity
Okay.
is not as high as it used to be. So, yeah.
Okay. Let me give you an example of what cool down is in this wonderful state of New
I already
Jersey.
know. Go ahead.
So cool down is when I get up in the morning, I gotta put on a jacket. Like it's like in the 50s. And then as I start to drive, I just check the temperature on my car. Like this morning I got away with it being 60. I was excited this morning because it was 60 degrees in the wee hours of the morning. But prior to that, we're like 55, 56. I wasn't feeling it. I don't like it. And then by the afternoon, you sweating and you trying to like question yourself and say, well, why did you put on a long sleeve shirt? I don't know. That's what's going
Yeah.
on here.
Well, I say that because, I know it's different up there than it is here. And when I say cool, it's 93. It's not, like I said, it's not that humid. And you could pretty much, you'll sweat, but you won't sweat like you normally do, when it's that 93 in the summertime humidity.
All I have to say is that I missed the summer already because I know what we getting ready to get into.
I don't have that. I
I
don't
know.
have
I
that
should have.
problem here, so I'm not worried about no snow. Well, no snow and ice.
Oh well, y'all had one year had snow that it shut everything down.
Yeah, that was what they call the big freeze.
And might be a little conspiracy theory or whatever, but somebody told me that the snow they picked it up and put it in their microwave and it didn't melt. Did you hear that story?
No. See, only time the snow sticks here, the ground has to be cold. If the ground is not cold, no sooner as the snow hit the ground, it's melting.
Yeah, they were trying to say that it was a setup
Yeah,
that all
but
that
yeah,
all of
that
that.
that's that's just how it is here. If the ground is not, if the ground, the ground is warm and it snows, it's not gonna stick. But if it's cold, it will stick.
Mm. Well, y'all don't get any snow because I'm sure y'all don't are not prepared with shovels and stuff like that like we are up here.
It don't
And
make me no different. I ain't going nowhere, no way.
uh,
you know,
I feel you.
yeah,
I'm gonna get to that point where I don't have to worry about that because now that's the only thing. When I was a kid, I didn't mind it because you don't got to go to school, all this other extra stuff. But
yeah.
when you got to go to work, now I'm not feeling it. I've had plenty of times where my car has spun in a 180 or a 360. Yeah,
The last
I don't
time,
like
last
that.
time that happened to me, that was back in the '90s when I went back there, and it snowed. I was living back there for a couple years then, and then I broke my kneecap, and then I said to myself,
Mm,
I said, you know what, it's time to go back to Texas and stay in Texas. and don't come up here when it's cold. So that's what I've done.
Wow, wow, that's craziness.
Oh yeah,
I should have been a I should have been a weatherman. I think I'm so like into it with different parts of the country and weather. Maybe it's just me trying to escape the cold, harsh winters of the Northeast. I think that's it.
yeah,
On another note, I will tell you that this Martha Stewart wine really has me thinking right about now about Chardonnay.
hey man,
Yeah.
you gonna have to send me that list.
Oh, I want to say I thank you for bringing that up. So because you have said that, I started to think. Like, how do I get this information out there for everybody? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile a list of all of the wines that I sampled for 2025, and I'm also going to have descriptions for it. So I will do that. Definitely will do that. So anybody who wants to know, I will definitely get that compiled and sent. Because we got
Yeah, I
some good ones
appreciate
coming up too, so I'm going to add it to it, and I think I'll
it.
make that
Okay.
a part of the holidays for people, because you can shop and get these wines for your friends and family and stuff like that. So inspired by Birdman 313. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for something I created.
Thank you for that. I was like, he got me thinking. This is important here. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And you'll be the first one to get it. All right, so we in the money hacks. We in the money. So, what number do we have?
Oh, let's try
Oh,
113.
113. Let's see what we got here. 113. I don't know if we did this. I know we spoke about credit scores, but let's try this again. See if it sounds familiar. 113, boost your credit score. One frustrating aspect of your credit score is that lenders use it to determine if you're a reliable borrower, but your report doesn't show all your other good financial habits outside of your credit cards or loans. What about your sparkling payment history for your utilities, your always early rent payments, or your consistent cash flow? Several programs can help you increase your credit score by adding elements to your credit history. Ultra FICO, credit scoring system FICO allows you to opt into Ultra FICO, which pulls in information about the balances for your checking, savings, and money market accounts to show that you have a consistent banking history. It doesn't replace your score if you already had enough credit history for a FICO score. It simply creates a new score with an additional information included. FICO says that 7 in 10 people who sign up find out that they have an ultra FICO score that's higher than their regular score. You can choose to share your ultra FICO score with lenders when it's time to make that next big financial decision. And there's something also called an Experian boost. Credit Bureau Experian allows you to connect your bank accounts, which it uses to pull your positive payment history for utility and phone bills. Then you can choose which accounts you include for your boost. Experian says that the average user sees their FICO 8 score increase by 13 points. Experian does warn that if your lender doesn't use FICO 8 score, your boosted score may not reflect your credit score. So for that one, I have to say, then what's the point of using it for? But that's just my opinion. So hack number 113, boost your credit score. So I had no idea of the Ultra FICO or the FICO credit system that you can actually attach your bank account and your savings account and your money market accounts to your actual credit score, because I thought your credit score was just based on your actual borrowing of money. So that's some interesting information there. What do you think about that, Birdman?
Now, I've heard that before where, it's like I remember when I had rented from a rental company. and I had rented some furniture. And when I asked them to come back and get it, it went against
Oh.
me. And I'm like, okay, then. So then I did pay off one rental company, and when I put it down, they just up and told me, "Oh, this don't count." They said it count against you, but won't count for you. That's just like I don't know about other cities, but Houston, I know Texas has a lot of side car lots,
Mm,
and you go there and you buy a car, and if that car get repossessed, it's going on your credit. But if you pay that car off, it's nowhere on your credit. So that's
mm,
why, I try to tell people, if you're gonna buy a car, buy from, a dealership, because it will, when you pay it off, it'll go on your credit report as being paid off. Whereas you go to one of these side lots and you pay it off,
mhm,
it won't get there. Because I bought a Jeep like that and I paid the Jeep off. I paid it, matter of fact, I paid the Jeep 6 months, no, 4 months, ahead of time, and it was nowhere on my account. But if they had a repossessed it, it would have been on my account. So kind of be aware of that. I just ask people, hey, do this go on my credit reference? If they say yeah, oh no, or they'll say no, then I say okay, then I don't mess with them. That's just
mm.
me.
That's interesting. You touched a base on a couple different things for me. So I love okay, so the question I have to ask, let me back up. So the rental company, you rented some
Furniture.
furniture and you told them to come take it. Now, when they took it, is it almost like when you get a car, when you're leasing a car, when you're done with it? Because I've done this a couple times where I said, you can come get this. You ain't got to worry about me trying to dodge you showing up to my job, stealing it from me while I'm at work and all that other stuff. Do me a favor, please come get this. And it's parked right here, and I'm waiting for you, and I have the keys in the hand ready to hand it to you. Now, I did that twice in my lifetime. And when I did that, I still owed money. So is that the same thing with the furniture too? Even though you gave it to them and told them to come get it, you still owe the balance of it?
Well, it depends on which rental company you go through.
Mm.
But
Because it's
if you tell them to come and get it, then when they take it, it's going against your credit record. But if you pay it off, but
exactly.
yeah, well, if you pay it off, it's no history on it. Because I mean, my mom, before she passed away, she had bought some furniture and she was thinking about giving taking it back, because we had to move her out of there. And they just actually, and I talked to them about it, and they said, well, it's gonna go against her credit reference. I said, look, man, my mom, she get ready to come live with me because she can't live by herself no more. I just went on and paid it off for her.
Mm-hmm.
I said how much more she owe. They told me, so I just went on and paid it off. you know so I could say, hey, I did do something for my mom. Paid something off for her, because all the dreams I had of buying stuff for her, I couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went on and paid that furniture up. Plus I liked it anyway. So I mean, she had been paying on it for like almost 2 years, and that would just been money down the drain. That's how I looked at it. So, and the tables, the coffee table and the end tables, I still have.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
You know,
There's some, when it's some good furniture, when it lasts
yeah,
for decades, that's how you know it's some
right.
good furniture. I don't think they make furniture like that no more. Maybe they do. You just have to go to the high price places for that. But
Yes, you
that
do. Yes, you
that
do.
good furniture, when it lasts decades, and you know that you got you a good piece, and yeah.
You actually got to go to a name brand to find the good stuff. You have to go to the name brand, and yes, it's gonna cost you. Because, like I said, down here they have. I will not buy any sofa, love seat, or recliner that's been sitting out in the sun. Because
Mm,
they'll put it out there for hey, you can get this because the sun actually rots the furniture.
absolutely. Yep. And now you touched another spot, which definitely helped me. So for people out there listening, this is some good information. Do you know that they do not buy brand new cars?
Yeah,
I will, even though the millionaires that got a lot of money, you see people with the Rolexes, and they are just, what do you say, flexing for the gram, all of that stuff. Whoever, maybe even just a ordinary millionaire that doesn't, and it's more likely to normal ordinary millionaire that doesn't, the person that you see in a grocery store that just looks like a regular person. These type of individuals do not buy brand new cars. They buy used cars, pre-owned certified cars. So you talked about the used car lots. You said that there's a bunch of used car lots in town. I will tell you that one of my most successful moments when I was at the height of my career in retail, I wore those used car lots out. And I've had some nice cars, and people would always compliment me on my cars. And I've went to get them from used car lots, made sure that they were nice. Sometimes I even took them and got another paint job on them, which cost me a couple $100, no more than, $500 to get a nice paint job, look brand new, made sure the interior was good, had a mechanic check it over. And man, those cars helped me and my family get through some rough times in my life. So check those out. Seriously, people. I'm telling you.
yeah,
I'm
but
telling
hey
you.
man, you know what? There's here in Houston. There's some streets people say, "Oh, don't go down this street or this street to buy a vehicle." Because
Yes.
and because whatever the down payment is, that's what
Hmm.
the dealership, that's what that car lot bought that entire car for. Like they says $800 and your payment's gonna be like maybe 150, 250 a month. Actually, what you doing is you putting that, you done pay when you put that $800 down, you done actually paid for what the same price they paid for. The rest of that, they say, oh, you got 2 or 3 year car note. The rest of that money is going to the employees or the owner's pockets.
Now you are absolutely right. So I will tell you that I developed a good friendship with someone in my area where I used to live. And that's what I'm saying. The trust was there. You can't do that with everybody. Now, the trust was there with this car dealer lot. They helped me out. I think one time I didn't have a car. My car broke down. They picked me up from my home, took me to the car lot, helped me pick out a car lot. I mean, help me pick out a car lot, help me pick out a car and everything. They came to my home, picked me up. They knew my family, they were there for me. But the problem came when I decided I started to feel myself and I started to make a little bit more money, and I wanted to branch out and go to another car dealer lot. Let me tell you, just like what you were speaking about, I had to get with them. I even threatened them in a terrible way. I told them, "Listen, this car that you sold me, it broke down. So I can't get there. I can't drive a whole hour and a half to get to Vineland, New Jersey, of where I bought this car. I got me a Camaro. I thought I was doing something, right? Transmission blew in it. And he told me I had to come back and pick up my registration. So I told him, listen, sir, now you done sold me this car. I ain't even had it for a month yet, maybe like three weeks. And the transmission blew up. And now you gonna tell me that I got to come down there and pick up the registration. Do me a favor and put it in the mail. Well, I can't do that. I said, okay, so let me tell you this. Since you done sold me a car that I can't get there to get it, and you're telling me you ain't gonna put my registration in the mail, and I need to go get this thing inspected. Let me tell you something, sir. If I have to drive myself down there or find a way to get down there an hour and a half from where I am because you sold me a car that's not right, I'm gonna blow that MFR up. That's what I told him. And I said that everybody that is in that lobby of yours will know not to beep with you again and buy any cars. So do you want me to come down there, or are you gonna go ahead and put this thing in the mail and act like you know? 2 days later, the registration was in the mail.
Yeah. Well, Texas got this thing called Texas has this thing called the lemon law.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that they or as is. And man, don't hey, one of my sons, we laugh about it. Well, not one of them, it's three of them. We laugh about it. They said, Dad, you done went through so many cars. I'm like, yeah, a car lasts me 6 months to a year. I was doing good, man.
I know what that. I know that's right.
I was doing good because it was always something wrong with the car. Either the air conditioner wasn't working or one of the windows was. It was always just something wrong with it, and hey man, it's down here they got a thing where you got to get an inspection. Man, I used to go get a hot inspection sticker. I might have to pay like $5 or $10 extra. But hey, man, one of my uncles, and he would be glad when I come around. My aunt be like, "Don't you bring him back here drunk?" And he said, "I know somebody to get it from." But she knew where he was talking about, and all my cousins, we would go to him. He would take us over to the guy house, sit up there and get drunk. And then, when he get back home, my aunt was on him. And she said, didn't I tell hey man, I'd be in the car getting on up out of there. But he would always get me a hot sticker.
Speaking of the inspection, anybody out there ever get nervous when you had to go through the car inspection?
Yep.
And full well that check engine light was about to come on, and it came on as you was sitting in the inspection line, and then you unplug your battery, put your battery back on, take the gas cap off, put the gas cap back on before you get in the inspection line, and you sitting there on a hope and a wing and a prayer, hoping that check engine light don't come on before you get through. Oh man, anybody out there understand where I'm coming from?
Hey man,
so
that's why I said I used to buy hot stickers, man. I bought so many hot stickers, man, because it's once a year. So I always find me a place to go and get me get cool with somebody I know that was selling them, and get cool with them, and then be talking. They be, oh yeah, man, come on, I'll hook you up. When they was $15, oh give me $25, I'll hook you up. But now, well, we don't have that inspection sticker no more. But now they had got is emission testing. That's what we do. And then it had got to the point where if the police will pull you over, they would look at the back of the sticker to see if it was legit or not. And man, it was so many people got tickets. The person got a ticket, plus whoever put the inspection sticker on, they got a ticket.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of which, I told you I was feeling myself. This conversation is so funny. We talking about cars. So I was feeling myself, and I left from the one car dealer, and I started to go to another. So I saw this car, and I bought this car because I just had this obsession with cars. I just had to have it. And let me tell you, it was a stick shift, and I put the emergency brake on. Why did the car roll down the street and hit another car? But thank God it just sort of rolled a little bit and just bumped it. And I said, now I know I put that emergency brake on. So I kind of crept across the street, got in a car, cranked it up and backed it up and act like nothing happened. But speaking of which, this car broke down, and I had it in my driveway for almost 6 months to a year. I had just got it. So you get the little pink card that says you got to take it through an inspection sticker. Well, I can't take it through the inspection sticker because the thing broke down. So a year later, once I got my money together, I started to drive to an inspection station. What do you think happened? The police pulled me over. He says, this is almost a year old. I said, yes, because the car broke down and I just got it fixed. And can't you see that I'm trying to get to the inspection station? This is what I'm doing. Gave me a ticket. I was so hot.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the one thing about it.
Yeah.
Today I own an electric car. So because of that experience that I got pulled over and got a ticket when I bought my electric car, I didn't get that pink slip that says you got to go to the inspection sticker. To the inspection thing. So I was so traumatized from that one police officer incident that I drove myself today. I'm looking through all my paperwork when I got this car, looking. When do I need to get this car inspected? I gotta get it inspected. I don't want to get a ticket. So I took my electric car to the inspection station. The man said, please get out the line because you don't belong here. So I was just dumbfounded by it. So I pulled over to the side and I got out the car and I said, so you mean to tell me that I don't belong here? I don't understand. He goes, no, this is an electric car. Just get out the line and don't come back. You don't ever have to come back here again. That was the best news that I've ever heard in my life when he told me that I never have to go through a car inspection line again. So as a result, ladies and gentlemen, I will never buy a gas power car again. Sorry.
Oh,
It is what it is.
yeah.
So the electric cars don't get inspected. Just want to put that out there. So that was my story. Oh man, that officer had me hot that time. I was like, "Oh, I feel good." Got the car fixed. Had it in there for about 6 months. Snow was all on it. Got the snow off. Springtime coming. Let me go ahead and get this to the inspection station before I get caught. Got caught on the way there.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into tonight's assignment. All right. Tonight's assignment. Here we go. We in Newark, New Jersey. And I believe that this person wrote in before, but I could be wrong. But I have a feeling that this person wrote in once before. Dear Laren, I never thought that I'd be the guy writing into a podcast, but I feel like I'm losing myself in this relationship. I've been with my girlfriend for 4 years, and while she's beautiful and fun, she doesn't take life seriously. I pay all the bills, rent, utilities, car insurance, everything, while she spends her paycheck on hair, nails, clothes, and trips with her friends. She barely contributes to our household, and anytime I bring it up, it turns into a fight. She says I'm trying to control her money, but it's not about control, it's about building something real. Spiritually, I don't feel like we're on the same page. Mentally, I'm drained from always being the provider with no support. Physically, I've been drinking more just to take the edge off. And again, this is a common theme. A lot of people are saying this. They're drinking to take the edge off. And listen, people, we got to be careful with that. And he also says, financially, I'm stuck because every time I try to save, something comes up that she needs me to cover. I love her, but I don't feel like love is being returned in action. My question is, how do I leave when you've invested years into someone, even when you realize the relationship is keeping you broke and broken? And I'm going to take that to the top again. I never thought that I'd be the guy writing into a podcast, but I feel like I'm losing myself in this relationship. I've been with my girlfriend for 4 years, and while she's beautiful and fun, she doesn't take life seriously. I pay all the bills, rent, utilities, car insurance, everything, while she spends her paycheck on hair, nails, clothes, and trips with her friends. She barely contributes to our household, and anytime I bring it up, it turns into a fight. She says I'm trying to control her money, but it's not about control, it's about building something real. Spiritually, I don't feel that we're on the same page. Mentally, I'm drained from always being the provider with no support. Physically, I'm drinking more just to take the edge off. Financially, I'm stuck because every time I try to save, something comes up that she needs me to cover. I love her, but I don't feel like love is being returned in action. My question is, how do you leave when you've invested years into someone, even when you realize the relationship is keeping you broke and broken? Marcus from Newark, New Jersey.
Oh boy. First of all, he's been with her for 4 years, and he threw it up there. She's beautiful and fun, and that had me thinking about this. About, okay, she's beautiful and fun. So, in other words, that's the only reason why you got with her, because she's beautiful and fun.
Don't judge, Birdman. I used to do the same
I'm not
thing, but go
judging.
ahead.
Hey, I'm not.
No, I know.
I'm not.
I
Now,
know.
I'm not. Okay. Whatever I say, don't.
All right.
I'm not pointing
No,
the finger at
I'm
nobody.
joking.
But
I'm joking. I'm joking. Go
okay,
ahead.
okay. She's beautiful and fun, and I've heard so many people, my friends, some of my friends, are, oh man, she this, she that, and I'm like, yeah, but hey, man, what other skills she has? And they be, I'm like, well, I mean, like when I say skills, it has to be more than just beauty and having fun. And then he said, I pay all the bills. Well, I'm like, rent, utilities, car insurance. Even if he wouldn't with her, he would have to pay that, for a place to stay. My question is, when he got with her and they talked about moving in together, did he mention, or did he up, how most guys are? They're up and say, oh, and they tell a lady, especially if she's beautiful and fun, oh, I can take care of you. That's the mistake that a whole lot of guys make, and they want to show off by saying, oh, I can take care of you. And a lot of ladies, they sit back and say, okay, if you can take care of me, that's what you're gonna do. And I was like, he has no reason to even cry about it, because I'm quite sure this is what he told her. So she's going on with it. Oh, since he can take care of me, I'm gonna do this. The part that really twisted that for me was, he said she barely contributes, and anytime I bring it up, it turns into a fight. That is the reason, because y'all never sit down and talked about what each one is willing to pay. And
Mm,
anybody, I will say this: if you move in with somebody and you don't talk about what, okay, like if the rent, okay, look here, I can pay the rent. You pay the utilities. You take care of that, and you got to have a common ground. Or you say, well, um, we go half on all the bills. At least you have an understanding there. But if you don't say that from the very beginning, and you just toss it out there like you gonna be the one to take care of that person, hey, what can you expect? What are you gonna get?
you know what I have to say from my experience? You know what you get?
Yeah.
A divorce. A divorce. But go ahead.
And then he says spiritually, he don't feel like we're on the same page. I'm trying to figure out where the spiritual part come at. I'm just saying, you know,
It-
I
yeah.
don't see the spiritual part in that aspect. I'm quite sure before y'all moved in, y'all talked about everything, talked about politics, talked about religion a little bit, just hit the surface. And if you didn't, that's on you.
You
I have no
know,
sympathy. I have no sympathy for him at all.
that is a very good point. Do they really? Just think about people, and this is a rhetorical question, and I'm gonna back out again, but I don't think people speak about religion and spirituality. Maybe that's the problem. We just jump into things and we don't even discuss. I don't know.
I can, like my situation. I've, I knew I knew that I knew they knew my background as far as, okay, spiritually this, religious, They knew all of that political beliefs or whatever, and it was done with. We didn't talk about it no more, you know. And we got you. Well, I only lived with three females, and every time we moved in with one, before we moved in, we discussed what each one of us was going to pay. If we were going to do it half, or if this one person was going to pay this bill and the other person going to take care of the rest. Because whoever paid, the rent or whatever, the other person should be able to take care of everything else. Because that person that's paying that rent or house note is paying more. And it also depends on the type of job you have. If you can't afford to pay what you saying you're gonna pay. And like I said, most guys I know, because I try to play that game too, where, hey, look here, I can take care of all the bills. You just be there, you cook, you do this, you do that. It don't work that way.
Sure don't. I've done that before too. Absolutely not.
And and then but then he says that I understand, but she gonna go out and she does what she does. And then when she get a bill, now this is where she's wrong at in some way. She get a bill or she wants something, she expect him to pay for it. No, 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 no. She got that bill, she need to take care of it. And if she can't,
Yeah.
get, like, if she want this, or like, okay, I'm gonna be simple about it. She want a tablet. I'm gonna be simple about it. But she expect him to help her pay for it. No, if she can't pay for that tablet all on her own, then she don't need it. That's just a little example, because I don't know what people needs are, and a lot of time what he says she doing, what that's she just not getting needs. She just getting something to impress her friends, like maybe going out there getting a dress, and she wants him to help her get it. And see, and he probably was doing that until he finally realized he was being broke and she was going out having fun, because he said she travels with her girlfriends. Okay, if she traveling, you sitting at home twiddling your thumb. I mean, come on, man. I mean, some guys just don't think. Well, I ain't gonna say guy. Some people just don't think.
Mm, yeah. I was that one. I was
Yeah,
that
no.
one.
Yeah, yeah. So
I
go ahead.
No, I like how you said, and you know what? As I'm a more mature now, it's making me think like, dang, I wish I had this mindset back then.
Huh.
But you said that when you are in a relationship, you both need to sit down, and when you decide to move in with somebody, is what you said. You both need to sit down and discuss who's going to cover what. Like, to be able to sit down and pull out your bills and say, okay, I'm going to cover this, I can do that. That is the most responsible. I would say I'm going to use the word intimate. And when you guys accomplish your financial aspect of it, that can bring that relationship so much closer and keep y'all so much tight knit. It's just amazing. And as you're saying this, I'm sitting here picturing and visualizing what that would be like, because I've never experienced that.
I
And that's terrible, but I've never experienced it. And that's why I say my mentor says, Larry, make sure you got your own foundation.
yeah, I
Don't be trying to.
I didn't experience that till this last relationship. Really. I mean, where we talked, when we met, we talked. I knew her. I knew how, a little bit about her background. She knew a little bit about mine. I mean, there was some rough times, because I was still getting over a whole lot of things from the past, and I kind of brought it into this relationship, you know, until I really just took a hard look at myself, and I thought about what my mom said one time. She said, "You know what? You're always picking up them old trashy ass women." And she said, "When a good
Mhm.
one come around, you ain't gonna know what to do." Just like that. And I'm
Mm.
like, look at her. And she told my sister the same thing. She told my little sister, she said, "You always picking up these trashy ass men." And she said, "A good one gonna come
Mhm.
around and you ain't gonna know what to do. Say you gonna do something dumb and stupid and run them off." Now I
Mm.
can't speak for my sister because I know what's going. I know what's going on with her, and but I can speak for myself because I had to think about that, and I had to think about how, you know, um, being selfish too was one of my worst things that because I had like I said, my first marriage kind of just ruined everything for the next 30 years for me. It seemed like I could say that it just totally wrecked my mind, and I know I was very selfish, you know, and I'm reading this, which and I'm like, again, I'm gonna say this. He got in her face because he said she and see I still get that one key word. She's beautiful, and I'm like, okay, she's beautiful, and that's what made him probably say, "Oh, I want to take care of you," because I know guys do say that. "Oh, I want to take care of you," and a lot of people, especially women, if a man tell her that, like I said, she's gonna go ahead, and then it's nobody's fault but your own, because you
Tell me about it.
you told her these things. This is what she expect, and
Tell
then
me about it.
then also she goes, and there ain't nothing wrong with her. She go take care of her own nails, go take care of her hair, but she travels with her friends. Okay, that kind of there is like, okay, how much traveling are you doing? You know, how far is you going?
And I'm gonna put in here. And is it a male or a female?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, trust me, man. I got caught up in that mess too, and and then, but like I said, she says when got she done purchased something, or she want to purchase something, she asked him for help, and I'm quite sure that he has done it in the past, and she thinks he gonna continue to do it. And he said when he's trying to save a little money, he can't, because he has to take what he done saved to satisfy her. And it seems like, really, I say this: he's buying love, or
Mm.
well, I ain't gonna say he's trying to buy love, but he's buying her to stay with him.
Hmm. Wow. I don't know, Mr. Marcus. I think you wrote in here before. I think so. I think we've been down this road before.
But
All right, let me take it to the.
okay, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Now you go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I forgot anyway.
All right, I'm gonna take it to the top. I'll tell you. Blame it on Martha Stewart. First Chardonnay that I love. I'll put it that way. All right, so this happens to us as men. This is a time where we just have to say that this happens to us as men. Stop acting like this don't happen. I have people who are close, near, dear to me that go through some things, and their women be dogging them out. And you know a friend out there, you know a friend that's wrapped up and trapped up with someone, and that woman is just dogging him out. So this is dedicated to those out there. Now, you've been in a relationship with someone for 4 years, and I'll keep saying this, and I have to keep saying this. You're going to learn that person within the first 30 days. You're going to learn all the good, bad, and ugly within the first 30 days, but sometimes we're not listening because there's too much bedroom action going on, and you can't pick up on the cues. Okay, so the first 30 days you didn't figure it out. If you're in tune, you're going to figure that out within the first 3 months. But okay, there might be some great bedroom action going on. I'm just keeping it real. So maybe you'll figure it out about the 6 months, 6 month mark. If not, then you probably have lost the game already. Yeah, I mean, first 30 days they're gonna sing you a lullaby, but most of the time, just the average human being, we're not listening because we so infatuated, we caught up, we just so much in love. But that 3 month mark is very crucial. And if you don't catch it within that 3 month mark, you're really gonna know at 6 months, and you're gonna be looking at yourself and saying, what the hell did I get myself into? The smart ones will leave, the weak ones will stay. So this is an example of somebody being weak and not understanding and knowing who he is. Know thyself. He doesn't know who he is. That's why he falls for the game. He falls for the outer appearance. She's beautiful, she's fun. But in reality, she don't take life seriously. He's saying she's beautiful, she's fun, she's sexy. But I know she ain't worth a damn. That's basically what he's saying. Like I'm just saying, like we know. Blame it on Martha. I'm just saying.
But
I pay
you know
all
what
of the
you say. You know that is true. You know,
because we always
because I like I said, I've heard guys who said they only get with beautiful women, and I'm like, yeah, okay. This is why
at
you are doing why you can't go to work half the time because you work, and then you worried about somebody else knocking on the door when you leave, or she running to somebody else's door when you leave and go to work.
Birdman. Were you digging in my past files?
No.
You were, right?
Hey,
Couldn't function at work, texting, calling,
yeah,
upset, didn't know what to do, about to ask if I can leave early, creep up and see what's going on to pop up when you already know what's going on, but you want all right, we done.
yeah. Hey, no, it's because, like I said, I've been through that too, man. And I always think about when I went to work in New Orleans after Katrina, and there was it was some of the young guys there, and one of the guys said, "Oh man," he said, "You're an older guy," and I'm like, "Yeah," and then I'm like, "Wait a minute, why you say that?" He said, "Because," he said, "Man," he said, "you got your own bank account, you got your own cell phone," and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, hold up." Then I'm like, "Okay, I understand. You're a youngster. You don't know." And one guy, I
Hmm.
mean, this guy was, man, he was making, we was making some good money at the, during that period of time doing restoration work. This dude here took off for a week to go back home because he said, "Man, I think I heard a man off in the background." And this one guy told him, he said, "Oh yeah, you did, man." Yeah, 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 yeah. You heard it. That's true. and he left. And then the dude said, I was just joking with him. I said, man, some people you
Oh
can't
man,
joke like that. This dude left, man.
I know
And
he
but he
did.
can't, he did no, he went home for a week and then he came back. And
Wow.
yeah, and then during the holidays, he went home and I guess it I don't know if it was a surprise or what, but when the door opened, it was another man wearing his robe.
Oh man.
And the dude, he said,
Oh no.
and the other guy that was with him, he said, hey man, he said, when I seen that, I just turned and walked away. He said, I ain't getting in that mess, man. I'm like, seriously? He said, yeah. I said, well, hey man, he knew from the very beginning, because she said she told him, why you go get a phone? He said, so I can call you. And
What?
yeah,
Oh no.
yeah. I'm telling. And she said, you went got a bank account,
Mm-mm.
you know. So she was spending his money. He was making this money, and she was dipping into it because he was like, man, I don't understand why I hardly have any money in my bank account. And when he said that, he said it around the fellas. We looked at, we was like, oh, dude, man, come on, you don't know what's up.
Oh
So,
man.
but you know what? That's always the thing about guys. Always want to have a beautiful woman, but that beauty comes with consequences.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
most, I'm just saying, most of them I know, they want to be taken care of, because I've heard ladies say that. If you can't take care of me, nah, you can't. I don't want to be with you. And man, when I was single, when they used to say that, I'm like, I'm glad you told me that. I said, because I can't take care. I'm just barely taking care of myself.
I know that's right. When people tell you, remember what I said about the first 30 days, right? You can
Yeah,
already make a decision. And ain't no hard feelings.
right. And I know I had one lady. She just up and told me, "What are you trying to do? Impress me?" I'm like, "Hell no, I ain't trying to impress you." I said, "Hey, you know what? You ain't got to worry about me no more." I got up and walked away. Oh, she called me names and stuff, talked about me, and told all the females in the car, "Don't dance with him because he cheap." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, "You doggone right, I'm cheap. You ain't gonna catch me and hook me in." But I would, because like I said, I always talk to older guys, and my dad, we used to talk about things like that. And
Yeah, that's
I'm like, nah, man, I ain't falling for that. And like my dad used to say, hey, see, he said a lot of times, he said the best women are the ones that don't look. He said, I'm not gonna say she just straight up ugly. Not them, he said, but decent looking. As long as she look decent, you all right, man. He said, those the ones that will
hmm.
treat you right. He said, but them real pretty ones, he said, man, because he said she thinks she's so pretty that she can get anybody, so she gonna get what she can out of you. And that goes for the women going after these pretty men. Same thing.
And and it goes vice versa for the ladies if you're listening. So check this out. Now we all know that God judges the inner. He cares about your heart
Right.
and what you are producing from the inside out. Now man, us, men and women, when I say man, we judge the outer appearance. We want to know what kind of car he drives, what kind of car, you know, that she has, whatever, what she looks like, whatever the case may be. It's outer appearance, clothes, hair done, nails done, everything big. That's what man focuses on. But one thing that I also was recently studying in Bible study is that the devil was very handsome. Ladies, I want you to remember that the devil was very handsome, very pretty, beautiful, fallen angel, okay? And in some cases, looked better than Jesus. So now, why would you go after the most prettiest, beautiful, amazing looking thing when we already know that the enemy is beautiful?
Ex-
Why?
exactly. And this is what I always said, boy. If they beautiful, it's something else wrong with them. It's something wrong with them. But you gotta talk to them to figure it out.
Exactly. Be careful about the outer appearance.
Yes,
And we're warned about that. But yet we don't listen.
right. And
I was thrown back by that.
yeah, you know what? I was too, but I seen it because I remember in high school how I was treated. I remember in college how I was treated, and when I went out in L.A. and I'll never forget, man. It was these females that stayed next door to my cousin because they stayed in a duplex. My cousin had one; they had the other side. And one day, his wife got mad at my cousin because she said, "You know what he said?" I'm like, "What?" She said, "That old gal was they was asking about you. He told her you was playing ball out here. You was in the summer pro league, and that you was trying to get a tryout with the Lakers." And she said, "I told him don't tell that old gold digging ass B anything." Hey man, after that chick every day I come home from practice, she'd be sitting outside. And she was,
Mm,
"Hey, how you doing? You had a good day?" Yeah, And she, "Oh, you don't want to talk to me?" I'm like, and then she had a kid, and my cousin them knew him, and they said, "Leave her alone because he comes over there every day, and he's very jealous."
mm.
And I did. I ignored her. My cousin, man, she was so mad with my cousin, and then she talked to me and he talked to me. They said, "You young." Said, "Look here, it's gonna be a lot." It said when they find out that you doing something positive, and that you may be into a lot, especially money. He said they gonna be coming after you. And I
Hmm.
don't know if I ever told you, but one of the writers for Richard Pryor, I hung out with him one night because he knew my cousin. My cousin knew he knew all the stars or a lot of the musicians from Motown, and he knew this guy David. That's his name, David. And he had David come over to the house. David came over there, brought a bottle of wine, man. Ooh, man, that wine was so good, but you didn't need that much. And that was the one thing he told me. He said, "Look here, man." He said, "You're a young guy." He said, "You handsome and all that." He said, "You be careful." He said, "Because these women here are leeches out here." And he said, "You don't have to get the most prettiest girl in the world." He said, "Because," he said, "those are the ones that have all the issues." And
What would
I seen that. And then he said he tells his daughter that because his daughter was riding around the Jaguar. And he said, "Man," he said, "all these dudes hitting on my daughter." He said, "Yeah, man." He said, "I let them know, hey, that you ain't getting nothing here." And he said and he just talked to me about that. And I was glad that I had somebody to talk to me, and let me know that, you know, like they say, all that's glitter ain't gold.
ain't I know that's right.
And that was something that I learned early.
I wish that I had somebody tell me that. I made a lot of mistakes, but I get it today though. I tell you, as my mentor says, better late than never.
Yeah, 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 man. I heard that. Ooh, I heard that so much.
It's just better late than never.
Yes.
So so Mr. Marcus here says he pays all the bills, rent, utilities, car insurance. and everything while she spends her paycheck on hair, nails, clothes, and trips with her friends. That's a problem. Like you said, Birdman, when you both can sit down and discuss bills and who's going to pay what, that's a beautiful thing. She bear. Go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No, I was gonna say is even though he went with her, he's gonna have to pay what he's paying now. He's gonna have to pay whether he with her or
Oh,
not.
yes. Thank you for bringing that up again. Thank you. I love when you say that. And I never thought about that, but I appreciate you for saying that. I'm so glad you brought that up because when you were talking, you originally said that. And I said, that's the second time that you've said that or third time on this program. And that is amazing. Can you please say it again?
Yeah, he was gonna have to pay all of that anyway, whether he was with some. I put it like this: whether he was with somebody or not, he's gonna have to pay that. So the whining part on that part, he shouldn't even be whining about that because that's something that he's gonna pay from the very beginning, or he'll be living on the streets.
It's basically the cost of living.
Yes,
I like that.
and
So all of that.
go ahead.
No, so basically you're saying all of that when it comes to bills, rent, utilities, car insurance, don't even complain about that.
Exactly, because you're gonna pay that regardless. Now, and that's why I say
Okay.
they need to sit down and talk about what each one is willing to pay. And I'm quite sure since he said that's what he's paying for from the very beginning, he told her that he would take care of all that.
That it was
Yes,
okay, yeah, because ain't nobody just gonna sign up for that. Yeah, like you must have had. Listen, I know because I did the same thing, and then halfway through it, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't like this no more. Now you want to go ahead and do the 180 on somebody when you already agreed to it. Now that's when the back and forth starts.
exactly.
And then here it is. He says it turns into a fight. And here we go. I've been there before. You said something in the beginning. You gave off an impression. You was trying to flex. You was trying to floss in the beginning. And they were like, okay, cool. I'm going to sign up for it. And then now you want to do the 180. They didn't do it.
Right,
You did the 180. Now it's a situation.
right. And
Yeah.
the fact that he says that he has to pay some of the things she wants he has to pay. He probably agreed to that also.
Exactly. Now I'm gonna sum this thing up a little bit because it's like spiritually we're not on the same page.
Right.
You can stop it right there because you don't even need to go any further. But we'll go further. But I'm gonna back it up. Mentally, I'm drained because I'm always being a provider. Well, let's go back to the first thing where you said spiritually, I don't feel like we're on the same page. That's why you're mentally drained because spiritually, you're not on the first page. You're not on the same page.
Yeah.
Physically, I'm drinking more just to take the edge off. Well, let's take that back. If you were spiritually on the same page with somebody, there would be no need to be drinking and carrying on. See, I'm tying this thing to a spiritual thing. Financially, I'm stuck because every time I try to save, something comes up that she needs me to cover. Well, if you knew who you were spiritually, you wouldn't be covering anything for somebody because you would say, absolutely not. That doesn't serve me. You don't belong in this situation here right now. You don't, like I said in the beginning, you don't deserve to have a seat at the table because you're coming incorrect. So I'm tying this to spiritually. And if I can take it a step further, I want to make sure I got this right. Now, let me make sure I'm on the right page here with this. 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? So we are already told to not be unequally yoked together with an unbeliever. Now, clearly, this situation here is a prime example of being unequally yoked. When you're not on the same page spiritually, and you know full well that this person is not in tune with your belief system and what you believe in and where you come from and where you're going. Clearly, we've been told not to be unequally yoked, but you signed up for the plan anyway.
Exactly.
Now, when that happens, when you start to mess with the spiritual, now you can almost guarantee that everything else is going to fall apart too.
Exactly. And that's, I guess, in a roundabout way, that's that's what I was, basically saying that, you know, they was never equal from the get go. And like I said, I just, to me personally, if we was sitting down, him and I was face to face, I just tell him, hey man, you promised all this stuff. This is what you promised her. And I say, you can sit up and say, no, you didn't, all you want. But hey, I'm a man and I've been down that road before. And you going down that road right now. You promised her all these things. Now you not happy because she's going out and enjoying herself and you sitting at home getting drunk.
Which is that's a situation. That is a situation.
Yeah. And you know what? I, you know, he said he wants to drink. So, because all this stuff is on him. It's not on her. It's really
Uh,
on him
yeah,
because he wants to drink, and like he said, he let it get out of control.
he invited that into his territory. Whenever we,
Yes,
I know this is harsh to hear this, but this is just the truth and the reality. Whenever we are experiencing some hell, some pain, some drama in our life, we have to look in the mirror and ask ourselves, what did I do to put myself in this situation? Because nobody can hurt you unless you allow them to. And I know
exactly,
that it sounds terrible, and you're probably some people are out there like, I don't agree with him, and I get that. But nobody can hurt you unless you allow them to. So with this specific situation, the drinking, the this, the that, she doesn't pay bills, she doesn't do that. You don't have to sign up for it. You can walk away from it, but you chose not to. You chose to sit there for 4 years and deal with it. So no one's to blame except for self because everything starts with self.
exactly.
I know it's tough love, but it's reality. And the reason why I say that because I've been there before. I've done it and I blamed and I pointed fingers. This person did this. I caused all of that. I invited it into the situation. I knew full well that you wouldn't be nothing today or tomorrow, but I brought it on anyway because I was so concerned about the outer appearance.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully we're able to help you, Mr. Marcus. But I think you know what to do. You're gonna need to get some spiritual healing. You're gonna need to start focusing on you and not focusing on everybody else. If you don't fill your cup, how can you fill somebody else's up? And I use the analogy if somebody's drowning, right? They already tell you
Uh-huh.
don't jump in the water with them because if you're drowning, right? I mean, excuse me, if they're drowning and you jump in the water, chances are that you both are going to drown because they're going to pull you down. That's why you throw the life raft out. That's the first
Exactly.
that's the first step. And I know it sounds terrible, right? But what is the point of two people drowning when just one can?
And see, the one thing about it is, and I mean, I've done it before where when I had enough, I'm like, man, you know what? I don't care. You can go on my credit report. You can go. I'm gone.
I
I'm
got you.
gone. And I have done that before where I just moved out, and my name was on the apartment, and at the time I didn't care. I just and I say this every week. That's how my mentality was, where I just walk. Okay, I tried talking to you, but nothing has changed.
Mm,
I just go ahead and say, skip it. You know what? You can have this place. I'm gone. Just let me get my clothes, my my books, my music, my writing material, and I'm out of here. You can have everything else up in here. And
mm,
in my marriage, I did that. I had some, me and her had signed the lease together, and it came down to where I found out that she was messing around. He actually came to the apartment and threatened me. The police came out and they said, "Sir, do you have somewhere to go?" I said, "You're right." I called I told you this. I called my parents. I threw clothes in the laundry basket, and then I said, "Let me come back and get my things." She had took all my music, my albums that I had collected. She had threw them outside, my books and my writing stuff. All the
mm.
stuff that I had started writing. And my kids is the one calling and said, "Dad, if you don't come and get it, somebody gonna come and get your thing." She had took my clothes and tossed it all out. I came and got it, put it in my vehicle, and I didn't go back. And you
Wow.
know what? Like I said, I was so relieved that I felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders.
I know exactly what you mean.
And I tell people, I say, you can't do, like I tell my boys now, y'all can't do what I did. I said I did that
Mm,
because that's I just knew that was my only escape. And hey, I just did it. I just, like I said, I walked away. I grabbed my stuff, what I could, put it in my vehicle, and she had gone to work. And she had set myself stuff outside, and she was telling people, "Oh man, y'all don't come." So yeah, a lot of my albums came up missing because she was telling people they can have them. But you know what?
mm-mm.
I did not care. I did not care. I said, you know what? I can always go to the music store and I can re-get that album. But you can, I
Mm-hmm.
can't get my sanity and my life back if I keep hanging around here.
I know that's right. That is amazing. I know I was watching a Tyler Perry play one time and it really sunk in. He said that when you can't have peace in your own home, that's a problem.
Yeah,
The one place that you go for protection, for peace, sanctuary, when you can't have peace there, he says it's time to go. And he said this was Medea talking, said that I will beat everything up out of there.
yeah, yeah.
Beat it up out.
Well, you know what?
When you can't find peace in your own home. That's how I
That's funny.
and I was there.
That's funny you said that because um we watch a lot of movies. We actually met uh, um Mario Van Peebles, and we went to one of his premieres when
Okay.
Outlaw Posse was coming out. And there's a part in there when he's sleeping and he's laying there and he's grunting. Big Daddy Kane, which is he's playing in that, and he looks over and he tell the guy, he said, "Man," he said, "this man can't even find peace in his sleep." He said, "That's something wrong."
Mm. Yes, absolutely.
And I was like, "Wow, man," but that's true though. If you can't find peace in your sleep or peace in your home, then it's time to just. And I tell people that, and people say, "Well, I got this, I got that." I'm like, "Yeah, I had it too." But you know what? At that time, I just didn't care no more.
Now here's the thing. Try laying next to somebody who can't find peace in their sleep and you hear all of that throughout the night.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I know that that's terrible already.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wow. All right. So hopefully we were able to help out Mr. Marcus here. If you want to chime in on tonight's assignment, please feel free. Text us at 609 200 1098. Let us know how you feel about tonight's assignment. Again, that number is 609 200 1098. That is the official 411 podcast Reading Between the Wines hotline. And Birdman, I'm going to let you take this burning question for tonight. What steps can men take to recognize emotional manipulation in relationships? I'll repeat that again. What steps can men take to recognize emotional manipulation in relationships?
Wow.
So, how do we know when we're being manipulated? And, I have some, like I said, I have some close friends who might be going through this.
Whew.
How do we recognize when we're being manipulated?
Yeah, like they say, it's hard for a person that's in that situation to see the outside and everything
Hmm.
going on. And sometimes he just needs somebody that he can trust and will tell him, hey, can't you see what's going on? And if you don't, you're going to destroy yourself. And right now, he's destroying himself and the one thing that destroys a lot of people is drinking.
Mm,
Don't get me wrong. I don't condone. I used to drink. I don't anymore. And I know because I that's how I used to bury my problems with drinking. And I would drink till I pass out. Then when I wake up, that problem's still there. So,
mm-hmm.
but everybody has somebody that's close to them that they can trust.
Right.
And but then some people don't trust anybody. I had got to that point where I trusted no one. I didn't even trust myself. But if you could find
Mm,
someone that you can trust, and when I say trust, that means you tell them something and they don't go around telling the whole neighborhood.
exactly.
And they and the advice they give you is not for their gain, it's for you. That's another thing, because we can listen to somebody give us advice, and that advice they giving us is because they're trying to move in now. Oh, I'm gonna get him away from this gal so I can get that myself.
Mm.
And don't think it ain't people out there that do that. They be like, oh yeah, man, yo, man, and then next thing you know, they all up in her face.
I I like that. I like how you said need somebody close that you can trust. Somebody that's going to give you the real deal. And you have to look at how long you've known that person. This is not just somebody that's a fly by nighter, like you said, trying to get you away from the situation so they can step in.
And for a man, it's normally another woman, and for a woman, it normally is another man.
That is a good point. Somebody's probably so close to you telling you that, nah, this ain't it. Nah,
Right.
this ain't it. Mm. But you got to check the facts. I always say you got to check the facts and know the source. So don't take relationship issues, relationship advice from somebody who is single, divorced, whatever, have not gone through things. Don't take financial advice from a broke person. Check check the facts. Seriously, straight up check the facts.
Oh, yeah.
Like know what's going on. I remember somebody told me, Laren, I don't like your car. And I looked at them and I said, you know what? At first I started to get a little offended by it. I like my
Yeah.
little electric car. But then I said, this MFer don't even got driver's license, don't even have a car to first. Now you gonna tell me you don't like something that let me back up. I ain't getting upset about this. But
Yes.
this is where you have to check the facts and know the source. Now, And when someone's telling you something like, yo, I'm here to help you, like, listen, you sure you want to be paying for everything? You sure you want to be going through all of this? She can go and run and hit the clubs, and you sit at home waiting, and this is happening over and over again. And like, this is not normal. And what about the kids? And they're not showing up. And when you get somebody who might be in your ear, check the facts. Because listen, God might be reaching to you through somebody else to help you out, but you have to check the facts. You have to use that great form of discernment.
And
That's what I'm saying. Check the
you
facts.
know what? There's two words that if another man's giving me some advice, it's two words. When he used them two words, that's when I don't take no more advice from him. And that's when he called me brother. And that's when he said, trust me. And I'm like, okay, now I understand. You are no good. And that's just me saying that.
Okay. Okay.
That's me because it
Wow.
has happened to me where person, hey brother, let me tell you something. Trust me. And
Yeah, that whole thing, trust me.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know about that. I know I feel you on that.
and I'm like, okay. You saying, and if they say trust me too much, oh yeah, I know you up to no good.
Or how about this? You don't trust me.
Yeah,
Well, you said it out of your own mouth, so you already know what the deal is. So why are we even having this conversation?
exactly.
I should have paid attention. Should have paid attention. All right. 609-210-98. Let me know how you feel about tonight's burning question. Again, that's the official 411 podcast reading between the wines hotline. Burning question for tonight is, what steps can men take to recognize emotional manipulation in relationships? I say when you're caught up in a relationship, you don't even know any better. You don't even know who you are when you're being manipulated in a relationship. So God, I believe, and this is just me, you don't have to listen to anything. There's going to be some signs, whether it come through a movie, whether it come through a song, whether it come through anything that you come across. But I would say most likely it's going to be somebody else that God uses to help you break through. So
Exactly.
pay close attention and check the facts, because your mind is so distorted and wrapped up and trapped up doing whatever you're doing. Sometimes you don't even know.
Exactly.
Mm. Well, Birdman, I know you got the show coming up for the 4-1 podcast reading between the wines live. We're going to turn on the lights, camera, action right here, same place. Although the time has changed. I don't know if you peeped that. It's 8 p.m., not 7 p.m.
No, I didn't.
Did you peep that?
No.
Yes, it will be an hour delayed
Okay.
on that day. It's going to be October 1st.
Right. Right.
So, do we get a preview of what you are going to be giving us? Maybe we don't want to say too much. Is it going to be a surprise? What do you have in
No,
store
it's just gonna
for
be,
that wine and
I
wisdom?
read a couple of poems, like I always do. I'm right now. I'm searching for something that can read. I'm searching for a poem that kind of relate to what we've been talking about.
Yeah, like the reoccurring theme that we have been
Yes,
having.
because it's like that one
Yeah.
time it was something I can't remember. I was thinking about that last night, and I said, "Oh, I got a poem about that." And I read the poem. He was like, "Wow, that was right on time," because the poem actually fit in with what we was talking about.
Yeah, like the musical journey, how music saved my life. And I'm sure it saved like SOS. She speaks about music all the
Yeah,
time. For those people, I gotta use my words properly. I almost want to say like a music junkie, but I don't know if that's correct to say that.
well, that's why I said
But like
people ask
it helped.
me how did I come through all when I tell them some of the things I've been through, and I just tell them, I said, man, I said, did a lot of praying for number one,
Mm,
but also. that poetry and music has really been a focal point in my life. And I said, music started for me when I was 5 years old. And I
Right.
said, I got, and I said, along this journey, I've stepped away for a couple years from, from playing any instruments and writing. But well, I should say, yeah, playing any instruments, I stepped away for a while. Writing, it would be every once in a while when something pop in my mind. And I used to always say, once I retire, I can write as much as I want to. And
Mm,
sure enough, since I've been retired, I mean, it's almost, I got so much paper and man, I got so many pens and it's ridiculous, man. I'm writing all the time, and it's paper all around. And when I look at them, I be like, oh, I wrote it, and it'd be like maybe 4, 5, 6 lines. I just ain't finished it, and I just
mm.
constantly write because that's what it say. And I'll always tell people, I should say, I shouldn't just say poetry. Writing and music has always been a thing for me, and that
Mhm.
that won't change. I'm constantly doing both of them.
Right, right, right. I love music so much. I look up to so many artists,
Yeah.
and I consider myself an artist. So I have an album that's coming out. I have a book that's coming out, and you know what the title is called?
What?
I was telling somebody yesterday. It's called After All the Shit That I've Been Through.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. It's funny because I went to the I was in my guitar room, and I just sent lady, her and I have been doing music, a couple songs together. And I sent her the chord, and she was like, she listened to it and she said, "Hey," and she said she want me to send her the chords. Well, when she play her music, I don't even like to read her chords. I just put a tune together. And I was sitting back there, and I had my music playing back there. Then I came out here, and I got this elliptic thing. I be on that for 30 minutes. I had my earplugs in, listening to music there. Then I went in the bedroom to do my stretching exercise. I had some music back there. So no matter, only place I don't have music is in the bathroom. But I got, I have two phone. I have phone in the, like I said, phone in the bedroom that had nothing but music on it. Phone in the other bedroom, nothing but music on it. Then I got my MP3 that's up here in the living room, nothing but music on it. So I'm always in tune with music. And
Mm.
then when I'm in the vehicle, Diana, she be like, you know what, that a little bit too loud for me. Hey, I have it blasting. I'm just riding down the street. I'm feeling free, you know.
Yeah.
And that's like when I go see my boys in San Antonio. That's the way it is, man. And sometimes they be like, hey, "What are you listening to?" I'm listening to some music.
Because their music is different from your
But you
music.
know what? They listen to the same thing I listen to because a lot of the music that's on my computer they put on there.
Oh, okay. To see they smart, they're like, yeah, let me put this on here.
Yeah.
So when
So
he put this thing on,
exactly.
uh,
Exactly. When Bird was in high school, he put a lot of music on. When Michael stayed with me for a while, whenever he got some music, Bird showed him how to do it, and they'll put it on. And I know why Bird was doing it because at the time, he was trying to do like what I did in college, like I was doing cassette tapes, and he was doing,
hmm
he was burning CDs until they started cracking down on everybody. And I told him, "Nah, man,
and
I said that's jail time." A guy I knew, he got 50 years for doing that. I said, "Hey, boy, 50 years is a long time."
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So,
It went from
yeah.
cassette tapes, burning CDs. Now it's creating playlists.
Right. And but the thing about it, when I was doing the cassette tapes, people was like, that was, I said, no, it wasn't illegal. I said, I'm gonna tell you what's really illegal. If you say you take a Mary J. Blige and you burn that CD and you sell it, that's illegal because that's all her music. But if you have a variety on there, that's not really illegal because it's just not
Right.
one artist.
I gotcha. Yeah.
But I ain't trying to tell nobody to do nothing because if you go to jail, you'll never come back and say, well, he lied to me. He said, no, I'm just saying, because that's how I made my money in
Oh,
college.
that is funny.
Some of the other athletes, they were selling weed and pills, and hey, I was selling cassette tape. Me and this other guy, my roommate, we were selling cassette tapes.
I don't even know what to say.
You know,
Oh man, I got you. He's yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, what you got going on in your world?
oh, tomorrow I'm gonna see. Yeah, that's the second Thursday. It's a group. It's a group that I get with. They started off at as an open mic on Zoom. Then they went to storytelling, and then things kind of changed. And this group of us that get together, and we just talk about the issues that's going on, in the world and stuff. And we do that. Friday have nothing. Saturday nothing. Sunday nothing. So right now I don't have nothing until next week.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah,
good. Nice light week.
yeah,
Yeah. This past week for me was hectic, so I'm looking forward to a light week.
yeah. Well, I make it
It's a
I make
little
it heavy
lighter.
for me because I'll sit up and I don't have nothing to do. I'll just start doing some, like I said I was gonna work on a video. I was gonna work on a video this weekend for a poem that I wrote, and I got when we was in Austin last weekend, when we was in Austin, I put together a video, and it's gonna be 8 minutes long, the video, and I'm gonna have like 4 or 5 poems on that, and then I'm putting on a flash drive, and the flash drive is called Poolside Poetry.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I also have my books at Amazon.com/Birdman313. I have 11 videos on Spotify under the Coffee, Wine, and Words platform, Birdman313. Um, Instagram, Birdman31355. I'm on there. I've been posting some of my real, I'm telling you, when I say old poems, I'm talking about poems that I wrote back in the 70s and 80s. They're real short, and I've started doing that because I don't read them. Under the cup. And so then I also YouTube. I can't forget that. YouTube.com/author poet Birdman 31355. I have a lot of videos. So I have like close to 600 videos, and they're from all over, from I can say from Michigan, Cincinnati, up and down the West Coast. Events that I've at open mics, and I also have some other performers. I have comedy, music, poetry on there. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Lots of accomplishments. Again, I appreciate all of the value that you bring to the Reading Between the Wine show. I'm looking
yeah. Thank you.
forward to you reading your poetry. I'm looking forward to the community, everyone to be able to see, you live with the lights. I call it lights, camera, action. We did it once before. But this is the first time that we did it this year, and we're back for part two. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because like I know one of the poems that I'm thinking about reading. It's in my last book, and I thought about that because I read it at an open mic when we was in Austin last week, and I'm like, you know what? All what we've been talking about that kind of fits in to what we've been talking about. The poem does. So, like I said, I ain't gonna tell you the title of it, but that's what I'm hoping to plan on doing.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can get maybe 2 or 3 poems in, and then if there is any questions anybody have, they can ask me about writing. So I've seen it all. I mean, I've started from the bottom all the way up.
I know that's right. Well, I'm sure we're going to have a great time, great experience. Looking forward
Yeah,
to it.
I'm looking forward to. And I'm trying to get the word out there so people will come. It's crazy, man. They always, oh, good Lord, well, can we do this, and then you tell them, and then they don't show up. you know, so so I don't. It used to bother me when somebody said, "Oh, I'm gonna buy your book," and then they don't. It used to bother me, but then like, you
Nah,
know what? I'm not even worried about it. I'm just gonna keep on writing, keep on publishing, and hey, may the chips fall where they fall.
absolutely. Yeah. Control what you can control.
Yep.
Hmm. Well, I want to say thank you so much for another episode. It's time to get on up out of here. I definitely appreciate you. And I will talk to you soon. I'll talk to you on Sunday.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I can't believe that it's here already.
I know it.
It's like we just did it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I'm like, wow, man, it's already that
Time
time.
flying,
So
right?
yeah.
Hmm. All right. I will talk to you soon. Have a good night. And yeah, we'll be in touch.
Okay. You take care.
All right. Take care now. Good night.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That was author Birdman 313. Always a great experience. Again, if you want to chime in on tonight's burning question or the assignment that we have for tonight, text me at 609 200 1098. That is the official 411 podcast Reading Between the Wines hotline. Again, that number is 609 200 1098. Now, I want to say that I want to give a shout out to D Live. Everyone out there who's on D Live, I want to say thank you. I also want to give a shout out to everyone on all of the other social media platforms. I noticed that some of the reporting is not accurate. So shout out to the people out there on X. Thank you all so much. I see you out there. Thank you for rocking with us tonight. Thank you for the people out there on Facebook. Um, I attempted to take a sneak peek and I see that there are some people out there. So thank you so much. My reporting is not accurate. So there's more people watching and listening than what the reports show, which I will follow up with the powers that be afterwards because I need this to show up accurate and it's not. So, but again, thank you so much for those of you out there. And especially if you stuck through, if you listen to the whole show from top to bottom, the people who truly understand and know what the journey is, the regular routine journey, you come back every week and you listen from top to bottom. I definitely do appreciate you. Thank you, Author Birdman 313, for adding your insight. Of course, could not do this without you. And on this note here, as we end and we get ready to exit, if there is something that you listened to tonight through our conversation that spark some interest in you, you want to change things in your life, you want to clean things up in your life, maybe you want to learn a little bit more about the debt-free living, which is the heart and soul of what we do here at Black Diamond Consultations. If you want to learn more, head on over to LarenGaines.com, sign up for the free 15-minute consultation, apply to see if you qualify for what we have inside of the coaching sessions. I focus on debt-free living from the spiritual, mental, physical, and financial lenses of well-being. I'll repeat that again. I focus on debt-free living from the lenses of spiritual, mental, physical, and financial well-being. All of those are interconnected as we discuss tonight, and we learn that one affects the other as they're all interconnected. So I have a plan to help those who want to become debt-free as we focus through all four lenses: spiritual, mental, physical, financial. And I believe that there is power in focusing on those in that correct order. Again, if you'd like some more information on that, head on over to LarenGaines.com. You most certainly can send me a text message, 609 200 1098. Again, that number is 609 200 1098. Call, text, leave a message, whatever you need to do. You can DM me on any of my social media platforms. I am on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, DLive, Twitch, Daily Motion. Again, that is all at LarenGaines.com. You can email me at info@LarenGaines.com. Again, that is info@LarenGaines.com. You can also sign up for my free monthly newsletter. Awesome inspirational content delivered to your inbox once a month. Dedicated around debt-free living from the spiritual, mental, physical, and financial lens. It's called Whispers of Wisdom. Again, head on over to LarenGaines.com. Sign up for that Whispers of Wisdom newsletter. I'm getting ready to release that within the next few days. So if you want to be a part of that list, go ahead and sign up today. Otherwise, you'll have to wait till October to get a sneak peek at the Whispers of Wisdom. And for those of you who get the Whispers of Wisdom newsletter, you understand, you know what's inside there. Thank you so much on X. I see you out there. Everybody, y'all waking up now. We getting ready to get out of here. But for those of you who are a part of the Black Diamond community and you get the Whispers of Wisdom newsletter, the best thing that you can do to help support is to share that with somebody. Just click that little button in your email, forward that message over to somebody else. It's the best thing you can do. Help support the community, help to keep everything alive. Spread that to someone that you love, that you know, and you could potentially help them turn their life around. Now, on that note, it's time to get out of here. But please head on over to LarenGaines.com. We have the 4-1 podcast, Reading Between the Wines, live. Disc 5 Restoration Part 2 coming up. Dates are being released as we speak. So head on over to LarenGaines.com. Check me out on my social media platforms. Find out when my special guest will be appearing. Author Birdman 313 will be in Wednesday, October 1st. You heard it here live tonight. He's coming back October 1st. Check us out. Again, like I said, lights, camera, action. We will be on in a different way. Same place at LarenGaines.com. Also, I have a masterclass coming up, which is very important to me. Unwrapping Financial Peace, Mastering Holiday Spending and Emergency Savings. We know that the holidays are approaching, but most of the time, we act like it's not the same date, same time, year after year after year. They don't call it Christmas in July for no reason. And I'm going to get out of here because I know we got to get out of here. They don't call it Christmas in July for no reason. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I want you to think about that. Unwrapping financial peace, mastering holiday spending and emergency savings. If you want to go into this holiday season, we know that there's some uncertainty in the world. So this is more crucial than anything at this moment. Learn how to master holiday spending and then focusing on emergency savings as we go into 2026. If you want to do something just a little bit different from the regular routine journey, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. If you want to do something a little bit different versus the regular routine journey that you've been on year after year, robbing Peter to pay Paul, not knowing what you're going to do when it comes to Christmas gifts, holiday gifts, extra expenses that happen to creep up at the last minute, swiping here, swiping there. We say swipe or no swiping. I'm just saying. Head on over to LarrenGaines.com. Register for the masterclass, Unwrapping Financial Peace, Master Holiday Spending and Emergency Savings. While y'all are waking up and it's time to get out of here, thank y'all for joining on X. I appreciate you. I see you out there. Best thing you can do, share this video, share this replay. And on that note, I'm out of here and I will see you when I see you again. Head on over to LarrenGaines.com and sign up for the masterclass Sunday, October 5th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll talk to you soon. Thank y'all so much. Have a good night.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's a wrap on today's episode of the 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines, where growth is always on the menu, and every pour reveals a little more truth. The conversation doesn't end here. Have something to say? Want to weigh in on tonight's burning questions? Text us anytime at the official 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines hotline at 609-200-1098. Stay plugged in across all social media platforms at Gaines. We're live and in the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, and Dailymotion. Prefer to listen on the go? The audio version is streaming on most major podcast outlets. Until we meet again, take what you've learned, sip slow, speak truth, and remember, transformation starts within. Powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network.